when you're locked in, sometimes the shoe's got to come off. I respect it.
Yeah.
Now, they had very high expectations for SK.
They're coming in strong.
They won a game and they were like, we can be better. And I'm like, all right, I'm all for it. Let's see a better version of SK. And crazy enough, Keduii, in the interview afterwards, himself was saying, honestly, like, we made some mistakes. I think we could do better. So they said themselves, we've got to lock in. So let's see this locked in SK, because Rogue, they likely need to do the same. Backs against the wall now, a high pressure series for them. We've talked a lot about how they need this win. And as we jump into draft, AP carries seem to be the target for Rogue.
And the thing I'm going to bring up right now, fortitude, mental fortitude for Rogue. We have seen so many series where their game 1 is competitive and the game 2 falls off a cliff, and that face of despair that Adam just showed, the staring is not a good initial indicator. But I won't speculate too much about the mindset. We'll just hope that Rogue can bring the thunder. Find some angle here, but you highlighted already. Double AP bans, Jace, Aurora. Just a lot of Adam targeting, it would seem, from the side of SK. Continues to be the strategy.
Maokai is available, Sejuani is available, some of the staples of EU junglers. More carries going to be taken away from Boukada. Seems that this time around, Rogue is trying to pinch that jungle pool. We'll see how they adapt. Again, some of the mainstays of Maokai, Sejuani still available.
Do they want to pick? I'm confused. Do they want to pick? What are they trying to pick here?
They want to pick Varus, no?
Oh, Varus is also good.
Yeah, it was completely left open. Patrik, it's, well, I'd say one of his most played, but I feel like it's everyone's most played at this point.
Yeah, you think you're special because you're a Varus main? Well, you gotta be an edgelord like Jack Spectre and complain about Aphelios all the time.
Yeah. I'm not sad that that champion's not in meta.
I'm so sad, dude. The only champion you get points for reading. Every other champion in the game, you could just feel it out. You actually have to read. All right.
Not wrong.
There you go. So we've traded the Varus.
I'm going to give us a bit of cheeky Camille. I think it's a terrible blind pick, but I'm still down.
Oh, also, by the way, I think Jack is co-streaming, so if you just, anytime you want to just talk smack, know that it will be heard. It's not BM, because he kind of is here with us in spirit.
You mean Jakob Spookta?
Jakob Spookta.
Nice, nice, nice.
Okay, so...
Yone, Maokai.
Let's go.
Keep it simple, keep it clean. Two of the strongest champions in the meta.
Traded for Varus, who will probably get lane priority.
But I think SK is completely fine with that.
And I think, again, I'm waiting for something here, because why are you banning double AP junglers? And I guess the answer is Pantheon?
I mean, it definitely feels directed towards Boukada. I think that he has a preference for carry junglers, and I think it's very much this idea of taking off some of those high-impact junglers.
Sure.
Like Lily and Zyra, which does make sense, and instead force him under more utility. We'll see how that pays off, as he will be on the Maokai. Rogue going for a great pick, great side lane. Like, you look at this composition and already, Taliyah and Pantheon are fantastic at going from one lane to another very quickly.
Also just an excellent kill combo.
Correct.
Right? Pantheon, W into the Taliyah flick back. It was a bot lane combo for one. I think LEC used to call it the Avengers or whatever.
Yeah.
It's very straightforward. You hit people in the face with a shield, you kill them with rocks.
It's lethal.
It's lethal.
But it is only on a single person, is the downside.
Which is true, and I think we're a little traumatized after last game, because while we did see Rogue, you know, blow up a single person, that was Reeker on the Corki, the rest of the people did not go down.
The thing about a composition like this is you've got to be proactive. You've got to be making stuff happen on the map. You've got to be trying to build advantages for your team, whether that be trying to set up dives on a side lane, or whether it be trying to force skirmishes in the early game. Like, fight for grubs, fight for dragons, utilize the fact that you just have a strong base kit and you have good synergies that you should be able to win out before relying on items. Which is where I think when you look at these compositions, Pantheon plus Taliyah has so much potential strength in comparison to Yone and Maokai, who are a little bit more item dependent.
Yeah. And I think I need to see, again, I think Malrang actually had a pretty solid game one. Wasn't the most explosive in the early levels, but they got both those tower dives. I think he made good use of a Xin in a composition where Xin really was going to be strong against those longer range
carries. In my opinion,
carries.
he did his job.
Yep. And now, once again, he's set up in an advantageous position where he's the much stronger jungler. You know, in the context of these early skirmishes. Later we go, the harder it'll get to outvalue a Maokai.
Ooh, bit of a cheeky Lee Sin top lane hover for Gen X. Was familiar with his very long career, was one of his favorites. The top lane pool definitely being pinched on the side of Rogue. Are they thinking about an Ambessa for Adam, given that both the Gnar and the Renekton were taken away?
Yeah, you have a lot of AD right now. It's not too bad, though, and they already banned away the Gwen, so you can see the angle. Leona.
Now, SK is going for a bit more of a wombo combo.
I like it. Again, I think the difference here is non-committal CC. You can throw a Maokai out. You can throw a Leona out. If it hits, you follow up. If not, you walk away. And that kind of discipline in those moments is a lot easier to achieve when you have non-committal engage.
Yeah. I'm wondering if SK will be thinking about a Vladimir into this Ambessa. Ambessa can definitely be a potent laner. She can really bully out a Vlad, but her early cooldown, like the high cooldowns that she has on her abilities in the early levels, means that Vlad could have a few safe laning phase, could also provide a little bit more AP and would synergize very nicely. We've seen it twice from Gen X so far this split, but I'm not entirely sure how confident he feels in the matchup. And he's saying Urgot.
Urgot, yes! It's been hovered so many times. Finally, it's an Urgot angle. Urgot, a champion.
Shout out to Blippo.
Yeah, if you just haven't been watching Blippo, probably the only person in the world who regularly, brings this champion out. But here we go. We finally get an Urgot. Certainly an aggressive option. Does have long cooldowns on the shotgun legs early, but I imagine doesn't feel too bad about going toe-to-toe with the Ambessa.
I think Urgot generally loves like, oh, you're going to dash around me? Go ahead.
You want to
dash into my shotgun legs. Yeah. I've got a shield. I've got a flip. Like, I'm happy for you to dive into me. And I think that's very much the logic. Also, when I think about... I was going to say I think Rogue's comp is relatively short range, but I want to take that back just because Varus and Taliyah I don't really associate with being short range. I do think this composition is very much about they're going to have push in mid lane, they're going to have push in bot lane, they're going to have lanes that they can play around, they're going to have agency because they have a Pantheon. This is a early game, scrappy, skirmishing type of composition where I think Rogue want to fight. They want to try and snowball. They want to try and leverage early game leads to gain control over objectives, generate item advantages, and then move forward. So that's what we need to see from Rogue. We need to see Malrang finding those leads once again, whereas SK, they're much more about the team fight. They're happy to sit back, wait, and wait for those core item spikes before kicking off the action.
Maybe taking the time with it. Ooh, nice cosplay. Respect. Good signs, good cosplay. It's a good Monday. Shout out to everyone who's here, spending their holiday day off with us. And with, of course, SK and Rogue. And it is the brand new Urgot skin, which is goofy as hell.
Hey, what's the brand new
So I think a lot of these are actually banned in pro play, but I wonder if the most recent set didn't make it to the list in time. Because I know Jet Ski Rek'Sai is for sure, or has in the past, been disabled.
That is so funny. He pops little bubbles when he's walking. Is that whenever he walks or just the home guard thing?
It might just be the home guard.
Oh my, that's adorable. It's like a little ASMR. I love it.
Yeah. He's just gonna wash you off. He's just gonna clean you up. It's nothing personal.
Oh, we got a lot of like water themes on the Rift today. Okay.
Minions have spawned.
These are the things that we look out for. Tell me you played too much TFT without too much TFT.
Observer showing us that when he just walks, he's not popping any bubbles. So every time he has home guards, I will need your observers to click on the Urgot for me. Thank you very much.
Official caster request.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Urgot Ambessa, which we'll check in on occasion. But as you highlighted, Rogue securing the Varus early, trying to set themselves up for some strong bot side action. Not the lethality angle on hit, which honestly against Maokai, Urgot, Patrik can get ahead again. This is an excellent champion.
You'll notice that as we talked about, Rogue should have prio in the mid lane matchup. Similarly, on the bot side of the map. I guess when playing against an Alistar, though, it will be a little bit harder with MF on the side of the Leona. They synergize so nicely. Ooh,
MF play. Shock proc. Nice
knock back there.
Yeah.
Once level 2 comes through, though, I think Patrik, with his range, should be able to get a bit of action. But I guess SK is doing a wise thing and just leveraging that level 1 to just keep getting these short trades.
Yeah, just
I love it.
To hit. And again, love tap plus the sunlight passive, it's a lot of really early burst damage in those short trades.
And that means that they're going to get the early level 2. So I stand corrected. The early prio are going to go favor of SK on the bot side of the map. Same on the top side. It's just this mid matchup that's going to be a little bit tough for Rika in order to be able to contest the wave. Keep my eyes on the junglers. It looks like that they're just going to contrast their paths by going in opposite directions. Malrang heading towards the top side of the map. I wonder if they will look to try and get a gank onto this Urgot early.
Urgot very easily getting the push in this isolated matchup. The range advantage on top of the fact that if Adam really ever walks into this Urgot, it's just not going to go well. It's maybe post 6 or level 5 once she has a few more points in the queue and the cooldown's lower, but early on, Urgot doing a lot of damage if he's able to access all parts of that passive.
Completely. Rika taking a ton of damage, very much as you would expect. The mana bar going to be used naturally by Larssen in exchange. And again, we find ourselves in a very timid early game. Jungle is clear. They'll set their sights on the Scuttle Crabs.
I mean, and again, similar to last game, Malrang, kind of the guy that we're looking at to make the big plays.
Keeping my eyes on him. It looks like he's setting his eyes on a mid lane gank.
Could just flash over the wall. Larssen holding on to mana. Flash over, instant W, follow up, and first blood. I didn't even need Larssen.
Very clean play from Malrang. And that's the type of aggression we need to see from him on this Pantheon. He commits the flash, Larssen is there to follow up, and they get themselves first blood. Nice kill from Rogue.
And excellent timing too. Larssen completely out of mana, wouldn't be able to sustain that lane push. Would have had to back in TP anyway. This time, however, he gets to back with a bit of extra gold in his pocket. Also denies a decent amount of CS, about half a wave over to RGE.
On the bounce back here, and
Patrik
Loopy goes
away
in.
right before the trade starts. Knockup is there. Good damage still on the Keduii. Ignite immediately going to get cleansed.
Very nice damage onto Keduii. And this is the Varus laning that we're used to. Very difficult champion to really win out trades on, simply thanks to his range and that Blight passive.
Yeah, it's pretty infuriating.
Loopy roaming mids. Larssen's got no flash, remember?
Flash over from RGE. It's a bit bold, but Loopy is on the way up. That Q's not going to connect, but Q3 likely to hit. Larssen taking his time, trying to get fancy with it, but I think just delaying the inevitable here. RGE, quick snap back on the soul unbound just to finish the job.
I mean, I'm quite shocked that that worked. Loopy just walked all the way from bot lane to mids, and then just ganked Lars.
They've got double wards in the river. Don't think they saw anyone else warding. Went for the angle.
Wow, I mean, I'm very surprised that they were able to make that work, but that early kill that Malrang gained now doesn't really mean a huge amount.
It's actually, it's rough because, again, the kill went to him. The money is his.
Yep.
So while he is stronger, Larssen comparatively weaker, and it does not get easier at level 6.
No. It doesn't get easier at all. I mean, there was a period in time where if you got Blade of the Ruin King on Yone, you were basically good for the rest of the game.
Just level
and then they were like,
13,
hey, we nerfed him, guys. We nerfed him. He's not a big deal anymore. And then like everyone kind of was like, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden he was like, wait, if you get Blade of the Ruin King on this champion, he's just good.
Tried this Blade of the Ruin King out. It's like, guys, we upped his crit chance. It's
No,
like,
but we nerfed Blade of the Ruin King.
Yeah.
And we nerfed Yone. We did both those things.
We buffed his crit. Surely he'll build crit. And it's like, but have you tried Blade of the Ruin King? Says yes.
He and Viego are kind of homies.
Yeah. Except one of these champions is significantly better. That said, Larssen, good push. A little bit of coverage coming in for Malrang. And RGE getting chunked out does mean that a potential all-in is tough. Loopy matching execute here in the mid lane.
I think Riot needs to make a weapon called Katana of the Wind, and then all the Yone players will just start building it, even if it's objectively bad.
You just put a bunch of stats that look really nice that are actually terrible. Loopy, quick stun, follow-up is there. That's one very squishy cow. Execute, gonna get executed.
That's just another pick for SK. I mean, they're just finding picks on the map right now. Execute finds himself out of position in the river. I guess he was just trying to get a bit of vision towards the dragon, spot what SK were up to. He wasn't expecting this collapse to come through. But Loopy, he's been on point with finding these picks so far in this game.
Patrik walking in, though. Grubs have already gone to the side of Rogue. Patrik just trying to show a bit of presence here. Larssen walking in, Pantheon coming in as well. Boukada in the midst of the team. The follow-up is there from RGE, but a double flick back from Larssen certainly looks good to start things off. Snapping back now, knowing Malrang level 6, still a powerhouse. SK a bit awkward here, but the Dragon seems like it'll reset. Rogue pretty content with that trade, all things considered.
Completely. Malrang getting level 6 before Boukada, knows that he is stronger and ready to fight. A good collapse comes through from both Larssen and Malrang, forcing SK away from this objective, and while they secured the grubs, there was no response. So while SK did get that initial kill, Rogue still found a way to shut that down.
Certainly did. Close game thus far. Patrik taking over to level 6, a good break point. Keduii still does not have that cleanse available, but it's just a little bit away. Execute may try to capitalize on this window. Loopy especially pretty vulnerable. Malrang around the bottom side. Flash just about to come up. Keduii has to be careful. But SK, good vision, spotting him out. Means they know they need to play back. They know that he does not have the Grand Starfall. So potentially disastrous situation avoided.
Ooh, double up. Some nice damage there. But when watching an SK versus Rogue game, we do find that we're very much tailoring our gameplay around the next objective spawn. Junglers are going to full clear. We're going to wait until the next objective. While Dragon is up, resets need to come through. Camps need to be cleared. Keeping our eyes on Malrang right now. He's on the bot side of the map. His ulti isn't available.
Patrik gonna fall. Clem comes out. Good flash from Keduii. Just barely able to walk out, but Patrik forced away in lane. Tense moment there. The Varus ult does a lot of things, but it does not stop the MF ultimate. RGE, though, might just be in trouble. His ulti not quite available. Quick flick back the combo here. Malrang and Larssen working together beautifully.
Malrang doing a good job of finding plays where he can. He shuts down the Dragon attempt. He finds a pick on RGE in mid lane. Now he's setting his sights on the top side of the map, but I think he just wants to go and get those camps up there. But again, we come back to this idea of they want to continue to be proactive. They want to keep trying to force these skirmishes. Given that Larssen has just returned to lane, I think they could use this mid-prio to convert it into a Dragon. But I guess given that Patrik had gone back to base, they didn't want to run the risk of trying to make a play down there without their AD carry available. Of course, now Malrang setting his sights on those top camps. That Dragon is an option for SK, but of course, Malrang's ultimate is going to be available soon. That's something that SK will have to respect.
Lane's reassigned as well. Keduii taking up home in mid lane. RGE on a side lane, but isn't really that strong yet. And the all-in still probably more powerful than Varus if you can avoid one or two of those skill shots as Execute wanders in. We'll spot out some vision. Both supports close, but not quite there when it comes to the level 6 mark. I think very crucial for Execute to have that before the next fight, just given the amount of damage that can come out from the combo here on the side of SK.
Very much agree. RGE now being moved to the side lane. Keduii waiting for the waves to arrive in mid. He's going to try and keep this wave here for as long as he can because he knows how dangerous it would be to overextend. We've already talked so much about the Pantheon ultimate, and with a Sundered Sky now completed, the man's scary.
He is very scary. A lot of early fights where you just can't get through a champion who can proc Sundered Sky 3 times. Maybe some messy exchanges. SK starting the objective. Larssen immediately walling off. W forward from Boukada, but it's the same situation. SK not respecting the range of engage here from the side of Rogue.
Exactly the same play. Rogue, they're able to find a very easy collapse onto Boukada. They had the Maokai ultimate available, chose not to use it, realizing that the collapse was too fast. And I think that this is just really good gameplay from Rogue. It's exactly what they want to be doing. Forcing these engage, catching out a target, converting it into a pick, and then using numbers advantage to get yourself an objective.
Sure. Stepping back, but Adam's actually the one walking forward, level 9. And that is the difference of having a completed item. Eclipse of very good bits and pieces, not so much.
I've heard about your Blade of the Ruin King, but when you don't have it,
yeah,
I've got a cleaver.
What even is Eclipse?
I assumed it's like some sort of cleaved, edged sword thing. It's definitely a sword for sure.
Sword. It's a blade of some kind.
Yeah.
They give shields. League's a weird game.
Yeah. I try not to question it because if I do...
Go down the rabbit hole?
Yeah. It's too much.
What aren't they telling us?
Because like, why does a pot make you burn? I don't know.
Yeah.
Why does a mask increase my magic damage?
Because you're spooky.
All right, no, that one's valid.
You're very scary in it. It makes people more vulnerable. I don't know, man. It's like a therapist asking you a deeply personal question, you know?
It's like that thing where what do you see in the shapes?
Yeah. It's the Rorschach test. It's that guy from Watchmen. Rogue getting another objective. As requested.
Thank you, observers. That's
sadly,
awesome.
right now, that is one of the few...
I love that skin.
That is one of the few things that are going well for SK, is that their skins are very funny. Maybe something else is going to happen here on the bottom side. It looks like Adam's been caught out. Nice flash out of the ulti. Can try to get over the wall into Loopy with an ulti of his own. Loopy managing to flash away. Shielding coming in. RGE on the chase. Adam getting so many resources dedicated. And SK will find that kill. Meanwhile, the counter push coming through on top.
He really wanted to take out Adam. As you rightly said, a lot was invested though to get that kill, and that means a lot of time was bought on the top side of the map. Malrang working with Larssen to help secure the first tower of the game.
Malrang and Larssen, best friends forever. Yeah. Where's the Pantheon pool skin? That's the question.
That is the skin.
Hit him over the head with a surfboard or something.
You're right.
I think that there's Leona skin already has a surfboard, so they're probably running out of beach related.
But come on, imagine when he falls from the sky, he's just riding a wave.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
I'm with it. Does that skin exist?
It sounds like it should. No,
it might. That's the thing.
I don't know. I'm not up to date on Pantheon skins. I'm not going to lie.
There's Dragon Slayer. There's the kind of Dark Soulsy one. And
the only skin I use on Pantheon is the Dragon Slayer one.
Of course.
It's the edgiest and it's the cool.
It's so cool. Yeah.
He's got some sort of junkyard skin too that I, for some reason, remember.
Mad Max kind of, yeah. It's fine.
Objectively the best skin in the game though, Black Frost and Anivia.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yep. It feels incredible to play. Anivia looks fantastic. She's edgy as hell. She's very doom and gloom. It's a great skin. Would highly recommend.
You've been reading too many light novels, bro. No. How many different versions of weak kid who works really hard and that's his superpower?
What's that got to do with Anivia?
I mean, you're just saying it's like it's the darkness skin, right?
Yeah.
I get it. Solo leveling's cool, man.
Yeah, okay. I read it before. It was cool.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Rogue looking for the collapse here. Malrang maybe a bit premature on that jump in, but does get a bit of poke down. There's not a wave for a couple of seconds, so this dive will be tricky, but with an Alistar and a Pantheon, this looks set up to do pretty well.
Loopy,
TP behind.
You gotta be careful.
Urgot coming to clean up. Loopy going in. Lockdown is there. Reeker punted back. Loopy probably going to fall. Stun does connect onto Patrik, and here comes Reeker, but it might be just a little bit late. Lockdown going in onto Larssen. Gen X not going to find the kill, but Keduii will. And in the meantime, the lead through. Adam just going to get the lead in. Ooh, the TP timing not working out a moment. And Rogue aren't on the same page, really costing him. Now the follow-up, the lockdown is there. Keduii in a position to ult. When is he going to throw it down? There it is. Patrik getting chunked. But staying just on the edge of the hitbox, will be able to walk away.
What started out as a messy play for SK turned out heavily in their favor. They secured their first tower of the game. Gen X gets himself a kill. Very unfortunate TP timing there for Adam, thinking that he can join the squad, help them get a few extra kills. But unfortunately, he TP'd into his own demise. We see the Loopy kind of forced to engage here. He already knows that his team is on their way to commit, so he's got to do what he can. Gets a nice stun, forces the guns out from Patrik, and gets the flash out from him as well. Unfortunately for Larssen, he had no way to escape, so he gets rooted up, and then the TP comes through as they're trying to escape, and he ends up losing his life as a consequence.
LP! LP! It's that high-pitched note that really sends the right message to the team.
He did live. Help was provided.
That's the kind of comms we want to be seeing. 1.1k lead for Malrang. That is a scary Pantheon. Well, he'd have to spend some of that money on tenacity. More damage coming soon.
So you want to know a really fun thing?
Sure.
So if you look at the scoreboard right now, and you weren't that experienced in the league, you would think, oh, Larssen has a 700 gold lead over Reeker.
Yeah.
He's got like half an item over him as well. He's even bought some armor. Surely he would win in the side lane.
You would think that, right?
You would think that. Unfortunately,
what have we all learned?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably not what's going to happen. So now what you'll see is that, but this is the cool thing about Pantheon and Taliyah, is they're really good at attacking side lanes together. So you can do this thing called shadowing, so Larssen can play through a lane, and then as Reeker tries to look for a skirmish or a fight, then Malrang's ulti comes in and he sets up for a play.
Reeker trying to get out of this one. Hex flash from Loopy, zoning away Larssen. Back steps. Clear it. Ulti from Patrik doing a bit of work here. The Herald. Oh, not used. Sorry. Was picked up, of course, in the meantime by Malrang.
I imagine they'll look to use that in the mid lane.
Please use it mid. I really hate side lane Herald, personally. Please just break open mid. I think that is the #1 thing that Pantheon and Taliyah need to be successful. In the meantime, though, Keduii very quietly holding on to a 500 gold lead here. Has the Swifties, has the BT to just make sure that none of that poke does too much to him.
He is quickly melting through this tower.
Uh-oh.
Panthult.
Comes the Pantheon. Pirate versus Spartan. Oh, Spartan looks like he's winning. Pirate will walk away, however.
Yeah, Malrang is quite lethal, even with only a single item. Keduii forced to cleanse away from that one. There's no objectives on the map, so I think Malrang's not too upset about losing that ulti. It's given them control over the mid wave, and just on time, Malrang's able to drop down that Herald. Here. A bit of damage down onto this tower.
Patrik is bot, which might be a little bit awkward here. No one is riding the Herald. Good damage going through onto Reeker. Play the room picking up for a 1v1. Not enough for a 4v1. Rogue find a pick. They do use the Herald. They do get a chunk, but they're not able to finish that mid lane tier 1.
It's cool when you get to see instances of where the nerf does affect the Yone. The fact that he couldn't break out of that CC chain whatsoever through utilizing his E. And Rogue was able to find a pick, and now that will help them secure the bot tier 1. I don't know if they really have much of a wave left in mids to secure that mid tier 1, but damage dealt, they get a pick, they get a tower. They're still going to be very happy with this. Objective's still a ways away, 3 minutes until the next dragon. And these outer towers really become the next focus, but with only mid really left for Rogue, your options are kind of push in deep through one side lane, get control over one side of the jungle, and then threaten the dive, make it harder for SK to be able to protect that tower, which should be easy enough to do given how low that objective now is in the mid lane.
Definitely. I think all it takes is slightly winning trade or favorable reset timing for Rogue to just be able to knock that one over. Dragon, as you mentioned, still pretty far away. No one quite contesting bot, as you can see Loopy shadowing RGE just to make sure. Rogue have been pretty determined to shut him down in the last few fights.
Calm before the inevitable storm. The soothing sounds of the river flowing across the rift.
And the tree that throws cats.
Summoner's Rift could be a beautiful place to calmly soak in the environment.
Yeah. Well,
ask the difficult questions like, where does the water actually come from?
Do rivers work like this?
Aren't they like floating above a bunch of stuff? So
there's no aqueducts on either side of mid lane, so how does the water go from one side?
Yeah, like you can see the edge of the map right there. We're very high.
Wouldn't there just be like thousands of mosquitoes there?
How come it doesn't rain?
How come it doesn't snow?
Yeah, we're gonna stop thinking about that now.
Those are deep questions. We don't need to spiral, you know? Oh, there are some dragonflies though, so the mosquito problem solved by that as the ulti goes in. Patrik cleansing, still slowed up for a second, will lose about half his life, but now the re-engage coming through. XQ with a bit of an awkward punt back. Now GenX on the chase.
He's looking for that ulti.
Fear beyond death.
Oh,
Larssen, nice pick coming in for Keduii. Decent poke back, but Rogue just losing, executing that quick exchange gives SK access to the bottom side of the map.
That is quite funny. They were all grouped up from Rogue to try and protect, execute from the ulti coming through from GenX, but they set it for Keduii to land the double up.
There's no right place to stand. There's no right place. If you stand behind someone, you die to the double up. If you stand in front, you die to the fear beyond death. SK will probably concede mid here. GenX is going in. I think just two-shot the tower, but instead they're going to keep the dive going. Tower about to fall. GenX doing a decent amount of damage. Will just get picked off. Adam still living as well. And crucially, they get that kill right before the Otacon buff comes in. Now GenX will have it when he respawns, but Rogue getting a ton of money for SK's aggressive attempt at finishing the Otacon.
Ooh, Loopy, he's looking for this.
Walk up. Larssen. That Zanya's is not doing a lot.
He buys a little bit of time. If nothing else, he bought time for Patrik to escape. And Adam nicely picks up that tier 2 in the top lane. So that was 3 towers and a kill.
Not a good trade deal, as it turns out.
For SK, yeah.
Yeah, they get the Otacon. They lose their top laner and 3 towers?
Yeah, it was 3. Yeah. Like, that was impressive stuff from Rogue. The fact that they caught GenX out like that, the way they quickly collapsed and then they converted into objective after objective, very nicely done. Now there is a 3.4k gold deficit.
Yep.
The Dragon is alive. Zonya's now completed for Larssen. But the Dragon going to be started off. TP is available for Larssen. He's going to respawn, and I think Rogue will want to fight this.
Not quite in the right position.
Corrected.
Also, the false life buff is still there. And you got level 13 for RGE. Their comp's still strong. They get a quick flash out of Patrik. Nice look for a pick in the mid lane. Boukada sending the ulti, just try to cement this initial pick on to execute. Fear beyond death. He's pulling him in. They weren't chains. They might have been towels. This skin is weird as hell, but SK will find the pick. Oh, immediate ult now coming in from RGE. Knows that he has the false life, just trying to style. Larssen buying a bit more time. Damage, but the creeps are blocking the way. Now Boukada flashing in. They really want to get good use out of these buffs, but this is absolutely not it. That is a lot. That is 600 gold for Larssen's flash.
Yeah.
and Zanya's.
SK is... They like to overforce when they have this buff. I mean, I guess the idea is you get the kill, maybe you can get the tower, but
Is this what Carney wanted?
I don't think this is what Carney wanted. It is, yeah. Let's kind of take stock of the situation. So, Otacon now remains on a few members, but it's going to be wearing off relatively soon, based on what I can tell. The map state is fairly, well, it's not even really, because there's still, the mid lane tower is still up for Rogue. The dragons are in SK's favor. The gold lead is in Rogue's favor. I don't know if I have an opinion on the state of the game. It's like, I guess like there are advantages and disadvantages, but overall it's pretty even.
I mean, jungle mid, top. The top side of the map for Rogue is getting progressively stronger. Now that might shift now that Urgot has 2 items. Level 14 as well. That's a decent break point.
I mean, they are strong and they have a lead. The thing that concerns me is just kind of, I feel like it's just going to be a game about fighting, and I just prefer SK's calm.
Okay, Boukada ulting. Patrik immediately forced to cleanse there. Wall now going in. Execute getting chunked out. Manages to find another combo, but Larssen's on the wrong side of the wall. In the meantime, Genix now joining. Full on 5v5. RGE just barely able to make it out before someone could body block. In the end, Execute dies.
And so this is what I mean, where like random picks just keep happening on the map. Like, we're not following what I would call a standard story of the game. Instead, it's just kind of picks happening across the board, and I would expect it from Rogue. But it's not really Rogue being proactive in finding picks on side. It's more that like, oh, he's out of position? Sure, we'll take that pick. Oh, SK is diving us? Sure, we'll find a pick.
Well, I think for Rogue, Baron is kind of going to be the big deal, right? Breaks you out of the cycle of random kills and kind of random deaths, where a lot of these picks haven't transitioned into something bigger in the last few minutes, although Rogue still feeling good about the last sequence where they were able to get so many towers.
I think we're about to run into another pick, Drakos.
Execute, another pick. Loopy locked up. This time SK cutting their losses, leaving their support to die, but Rogue grouped as a 5-man, 3 seconds till Baron spawns. I imagine they just immediately go for it.
Just force the Baron. Rogue find another pick at a crucial time. Now the pressure is on SK. How are they going to challenge this? They have the Maokai ultimate. TP now committed.
RGE on the way in has no ulti. Needs to stack Q, but doesn't have a good angle. I think SK hoping for a mistake from the side of Rogue. Keduii's ultimate is going to be key here, but he just doesn't have it quite yet. Quick snapback, 3K on the objective, flick back, but a nice buffer on the disdain means Genix is still able to make it out. Rogue should just be able to grab this objective for free. Execute now down. Pantheon taking the Baron. SK looking for exit kills. RGE waiting over the wall, about to have the ulti, but now it's Adam going in. A quick turn. Boukada deleted. It's the AP Maokai. Not powerful at all. Keduii caught out the flash through. The double flash through. Loopy on the way in, just in time to watch his team die. Rogue decisive in the play. Loopy running to get away, but there's just no shot.
Adam with some great decision-making on the back end of that fight. He finds a clutch ultimate onto the overextending Boukada and Genax, and they convert it into a big team fight win. You'll see RGE goes in, kind of gets a bit of a tap off, but as you rightly said, there's no ultimate available for this Yone. He then flashes away out of fear of being knocked back. Execute doing what he can to zone them away. He does a good enough job to protect the Smite Steal from coming through. And then Adam, with the clutch ultimate, connects onto the Maokai, a very squishy Maokai that immediately gets dropped. RGE tries to find path onto the backline, but really can't commit to much. And then the fight breaks out into these smaller skirmishes, which is where Rogue's composition excels. You can see that without Loopy, without that big, beefy front line to act as an engage, it's much harder for SK to play these front to back, and good on Rogue for playing the patient approach.
I don't know if that was woohoo or yoo-hoo, but either way, well played by the side of Rogue. And the chase down potential you see here with the semi-globals, especially when Larssen doesn't need it to start the fight. Weaver's Wall not too far out. Patrik with his ulti available to SK. Have the Maokai ulti to try and create some space to zone away. Good ulti from Loopy. Immediate follow-up coming in from Keduii, but Larssen buys a bit more time. Execute still ticking, still standing strong in the meantime. RGE taking a tower. Pressure on 2 lanes. A lot of cooldowns burned there, but will save the bot lane tower at least as Adam just continues this assault in mid lane.
Adam is very strong, and Genax is really starting to struggle to deal with him.
Rogue. Stepping up now. Larssen TPing back instead of conceding here, knowing that they still are in such an advantageous position, knowing those ultimates are gone. Opts to TP back to lane, keep that pressure up, try to get a second inhibitor. The minions will finish it for him.
Good damage done. I was a bit worried for Rogue after SK found that nice engage onto Executor. I mean, onto 3 members, really. But the good news is Rogue didn't really lose a lot of their HP bars, so they can continue their siege. Adam doing a good job split away from the rest of the pack. That's 2 inhibitors secured. Dragon is on the table for them to pick up if they want to. And I think it should be an easy objective to secure.
For SK, clear what their composition wants to do, but Rogue, much more powerful tools to snowball. Pantheon, the Grand Starfall, Gen X overextending here, locked up by Adam. Ooh, this execution taking a bit of time, but down he goes. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, all remaining members of SK looking for a push, but they're spotted on Vision.
And it's just an easy pick from Rogue once again. I think that they have done a good job this game of utilizing the Taliyah Pantheon double ulti combo to find these picks on the map. They've done a really good job of punishing SK as well. And now they find themselves in a completely winning position. They'll set their sights on the top lane next, I imagine, as they look to try and push in this wave. Adam can still split off from the rest of the team, escorting these super minions into the base to keep the pressure on from multiple angles. But I don't think they need to take their foot off the pedal. I think they just need to keep accelerating and forcing SK into this awkward position where they're constantly in base defense mode.
Rogue are so comfortable with Drakes being at 2-2. No threat of SK stealing a soul or of it going to Elder anytime soon, which suits them just fine given how far ahead they are. And also, a lot of their champions just individually stronger. I think this Urgot pick, while it did get lane priority early on, really hasn't been able to do much in these team fights. Rogue always picking off one member to start things just makes it so hard for SK to get the full 5v5. No Baron here. Boukada throwing down an ulti, looking for the combo. Larssen again using the stopwatch, but where is the follow-up? Answer is nowhere, just clearing the wave. SK, get that cooldown.
They tank the damage, but look at Adam in the side lane. Rika has to go and respond. The pressure from the Ambessa was successfully generated. Now he can look to regroup with his team, force Rika into this awkward decision.
Be looking to cover. Varus connecting on one. Backstep there. Loopy probably going to fall. Manages to make it out. Gen X is just about to get one shot, trying to disdain his way to safety, but Malrang does too much damage. Fall now coming in from Adam. Looking to find Keduii as well. Clean picks from Rogue.
And it's an easy pickup as Adam makes his way over to the team. And now there's only one inhibitor standing in their way. Rogue bounce back in the series. They find some fantastic picks. The Baron was really the nail-biter, and now they're looking to close things out.
Keeping things going. SK trying to turn here. Rika really their only good source of damage. Is going to be able to ult through, at least find one. Snaps back, unstoppable for the moment. Low health bar. Another Q3 ready to go, but should just fall. 3 carries left standing for Rogue. Malrang dang powerful. One last desperate hold from SK as Rogue look to close this one out. Boukada chunks completely deleted. Rogue firing back, standing strong and taking us to a game 3.
I think you could see the Malrang impact in this game. That Pantheon was doing so much work in the early game, denying early objectives away from SK, punishing the dives, finding repeated picks.